The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as cameras flashed outside the tall oak doors. Reporters crowded the marble steps, their voices echoing through the grand hall of justice like the hum of an oncoming storm. Inside, seated at the defendant's table, was Alexander Hayes, billionaire entrepreneur, tech visionary, and now the man at the center of a high-profile fraud trial that threatened to destroy everything he'd built. Dressed in a sleek navy suit, his usual confidence was replaced by worry. Yet, what unsettled him more wasn't the charges, it was the empty chair beside him. His lawyer hadn't shown up. Whispers rippled through the gallery as the judge raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. "Mr. Hayes," she said sharply, "where is your counsel?" I don't know, Your Honor," Alexander replied, his voice tight. He looked at his assistant seated behind him, a quiet, observant young woman named Mia Carter. She had worked for him for nearly 3 years, mostly fetching coffee, handling appointments, and fading into the background. But now, she leaned forward, concern etched into every line of her face. Moments later, the courtroom doors burst open. Alexander's attorney, the high-powered, smooth-talking man he had paid handsomely to represent him, strutted in, straightened his tie, and then shocked everyone. "Your Honor," the lawyer said, without meeting his client's eyes, "I'm withdrawing from this case. I can no longer represent Mr. Hayes due to irreconcilable ethical concerns." Gasps filled the courtroom. Alexander shot up, stunned. "What? You're abandoning me? Now?" "I'm sorry," the lawyer muttered with rehearsed coldness, "but this isn't something I can continue." With that, he walked out, leaving Alexander to face a ruthless legal machine alone. Silence stretched like a rope about to snap. The judge sighed. "Mr. Hayes, unless you can provide legal representation immediately, we will have to postpone, or move forward without counsel." That's when something entirely unexpected happened. A small voice rose from the back of the room. "I'll defend him." Everyone turned. There stood Mia Carter, a folder in her hands, her voice trembling but steady. She took a step forward, then another, until she stood beside Alexander. I'm a licensed attorney. I passed the bar last year but never got the chance to practice. I was working for Mr. Hayes while studying for my exam. He didn't know, I never told him. But I believe in him. And if no one else will stand by him, I will." The room froze. The judge narrowed her eyes. "Are you serious, Miss Carter?" "Mia Carter." She swallowed hard but stood taller. "Yes, Your Honor. I'm fully licensed in the state and registered. I'll represent him." Alexander looked at her as though seeing her for the first time. Not just as his assistant, but as someone who had been hiding quiet strength behind her modest demeanor. "Mia, why would you do this?" She glanced at him. "Because I know you. I've watched you help single mothers who worked as janitors in your company. I've seen you pay for surgeries without telling the press. You're not perfect, but you're not what they're saying. You helped me get through law school, even if you didn't know it. You gave me a job when I had nothing. I'm not letting you go down like this." Permission was reluctantly granted. The court resumed the trial. For the next week, the world watched in disbelief as Mia, a woman no one had ever heard of, squared off against a team of high-powered prosecutors. She was raw, unpolished, and sometimes stumbled over her words, but what she lacked in courtroom finesse she made up for in truth, passion, and tireless effort. She dug through boxes of documents herself, stayed up until dawn preparing arguments, and faced down seasoned attorneys with nothing but a backbone of steel and unwavering belief. Every time she stood, the courtroom leaned in. She uncovered a critical piece of evidence, a hidden transaction that exonerated Alexander. While others had overlooked it, she noticed a line of code that proved a former executive had manipulated software to redirect funds. Her questioning was sharp. Her voice cracked from exhaustion. But by the time she rested her case, even the prosecution had a glimmer of doubt. In closing statements, Mia stood before the jury, eyes ringed with sleeplessness, heart wide open. I know I'm not the lawyer you expected. But I'm the one who showed up. I'm not asking you to believe in me, I'm asking you to believe in the truth. Alexander Hayes may be a billionaire, but that doesn't make him guilty. I believe in second chances, in loyalty, in the idea that people can do great good even after mistakes. If I, someone who started from nothing, can stand here today and fight for justice, then so can you. Let's not punish someone based on assumptions. Let's honor the truth. When the verdict was read, not guilty, the courtroom erupted in emotion. Alexander sat back in stunned silence, then turned to Mia with tears in his eyes. I don't know how to thank you, he whispered. You already did, she said softly. When you hired me without a resume and asked nothing in return. Outside, cameras swarmed her. Reporters wanted to know everything. Who was she? Where had she come from? But Mia wasn't interested in fame. She had come to defend not just a man, but a principle. That everyone deserves someone in their corner. That kindness is repaid in unexpected ways. That believing in someone can change everything. In the weeks that followed, her life changed. Law firms called. TV shows offered appearances. But it was Alexander who made the most life-changing offer. I want you to be the general counsel for my company, he said. I want someone brave, someone with integrity. Someone like you. She accepted, not because of the salary or the prestige, but because she had earned her place. Not by being flashy, but by standing tall when it mattered most. Years later, when asked about that day, she simply said, sometimes, the people we overlook are the ones who end up saving us. Never underestimate quiet strength. And never forget, showing up for someone can change a life. Maybe even your own. And so, in a world often driven by power and appearances, it was a humble assistant turned lawyer who reminded everyone that courage, loyalty, and compassion still matter, and that sometimes, the most powerful defense is love for what's right.